السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
وعليكم السلام.
Today إن شاء الله هنتكلم عن الفورس وهنكمل أو هنعمل لينك ما بين السيشن اللي فاتت والسيشن دي، ومهم جدا تعرف relationship between force and acceleration عشان احنا قلنا إن العلاقة بينهم قوية جدا، ومن أهم قوانين الفيزيكس الريليشن ما بين الفورس والأكسلريشن، وهو ده بنسميه second law of Newton. Okay, let's start with definition of force. What is meant by force? The force is an effect that causes a change. أي effect بيعمل change يبقى ده معناه we have a force. طيب what are changes caused by force؟ إيه ال changes اللي ممكن تسببها الفورس؟ والله if we have a stationary object and this object start to move يبقى the state بتاعته اتغيرت from a stationary object to moving object يبقى أنا عندي force. And the opposite, like if we have a moving object and this moving object start to decelerate or become at the end becomes a stationary object يبقى أنا عندي force. يبقى اللي وقفه أو اللي خلاه يعمل stop هو الفورس. طيب if we have an object and this object is moving with a constant speed and the speed changes, like the speed increases or decreases. So because of a force, يبقى the force can change the state of the object and the speed of the object. Okay. Hold on here. Okay. The third thing is a change of the direction of motion. لو عندي object like object moving in a circle or moving on a curve يبقى ده عندي force. هو مش هيقدر يمشي في curve من غير force. Okay. لو الأوبجكت بتاعي الشيب بتاعه حصل له deformation تغير أو السايز بتاعه اتغير يبقى أنا عندي force. يبقى عندي four things, four changes caused by force: state of the object, speed of the object, direction of motion, and the shape and size of the object. Okay. طيب هنبدأ ببداية بسيطة جدا. How can we calculate the force? If we have an object and this object has mass m and we exert a force on the object and this object moves with acceleration a, so the force equals to mass times acceleration. طيب is force vector quantity or a scalar quantity? It is a
vector quantity.
It is vector quantity. Why it is vector quantity? علشان لو احنا apply the force to the right، لو انا عملت application the force to the right it's completely different if apply the force to the left. لو أنا عملت force to the right فالobject moves to the right. لو عملنا force to the left فالobject هيتحرك to the left. إذن الفورس has direction. الفورس بتعمل motion فأنت لازم تعرف الدايركشن بتاع الموشن ده في أي direction. الفورس is a vector quantity because it needs magnitude and direction. Okay. طيب what is the measuring unit of force؟ لما بنتكلم عن force say I have a force of 5 Newton. Of 5. What is the unit? Is Newton. Okay, تعالوا نشوف كده. Let's start هنا. Okay. So we have here force F equal mass multiplies acceleration, and we know that the measuring unit of force is Newton, and the measuring unit of mass is kilogram, and the measuring unit of acceleration is meter per second square. So we can write it like this: meter per second square. So we can say that Newton is equivalent to kilogram meter per second square. Okay, so force is a vector quantity. It needs magnitude and direction. The measuring unit is Newton, and Newton is equivalent to kilogram meter per second square. Like, you know this formula? F equal ma.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, this formula is called second law of Newton. I know most of you know this or is knowing this relation. This is known as second law of Newton. يعني احنا لو خرجنا من الكورس and you don't know this equation يبقى انت كأنك ما درستش physics خالص. دي اهم equation في الفيزيكس عشان تبقى فاهم. من اهم الحاجات اللي عملها لنا نيوتن عملنا 3 laws: first law, second law, third law. اوكي تعالوا نشوف بعد كده. تعالوا كده ناخد like a few examples how to calculate the force. If I have an object and the mass of the object is 4 kilogram, it accelerates by 2 meters per second. Or sorry, it accelerates by 2 meters per second square. Find the applied force. So the force equals mass multiplies acceleration. It equals the mass is 4 and the acceleration is 2. So we get force equal 8 Newton. Okay. Okay, we're going step by step.
Like, why didn't we write it down? Because this is meter per second power 2.
You don't know why acceleration, the measuring unit of acceleration meter per second square?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, hold on for a second. يعني لو قلنا كده, if we say that the acceleration here, it is v minus u divided by time, right? So the difference between speed will give you a speed, right?
Yes, teacher.
It's change in speed divided by time. Okay, what is the measuring unit of speed?
Meter per second.
Exactly, it is meter per second. Okay, what is the measuring unit for time?
Second.
Second. Okay, يعني هقول لك simple way كده زمان, يعني when you were young كنتوا بتعملوا ايه؟ دي like division, right? فممكن نعملها كده meter per second divide second. Okay, كنا بنعمل ايه واحنا صغيرين؟ كنا بنعمل change divide into multiply, يعني تبقى كده meter per second multiply 1 over second, right?
Yes, teacher.
So it is meter per second. M times 1 equal M, S times S power 2. So it is meter per second square. Huh? You got it now?
Yes, thank you.
Now we have another example. So we have here an object, the mass بتاعت الobject بتاعتي, الM بتاعتي equals 3 kilogram. Okay, moves with constant speed, V. Oh, constant speed is 5 meters per second. When a force is applied for 3 seconds, the speed increases to be 11 meters per second. Find the applied force. خلاص؟ لما يجي لنا questions دوت, انت start from the end. يعني هو بيسألك على ايه? He asks for the force. So you have force equal mass multiply acceleration. طيب احنا عندنا الماس. Do we have the mass of the object? Yes, the mass is 3. Do we have the acceleration? No. The acceleration is not given, but you are given some information to calculate the acceleration. Initially, the object was moving with a speed of 5 meters per second. And all this is known as the initial speed. So we have here U is the initial speed, which is 5 meters per second. Okay, after applying the force, the speed increases to be 11 meters per second. This is V, which is the final speed, 11 meters per second. Okay, and the time taken to increase the speed from 5 to 11 meters per second is 3 seconds. So time here is 3. So from U, V, and T, we can calculate the acceleration. We know, you know the formula of acceleration?
Yes, teacher. A equals to V minus Q over T.
Exactly.
A equals to V minus U over
V minus
U over T
divided T. So the initial speed or the final speed V is 11 minus 5 divided by T, which is 3. So we get here acceleration here equals 6 divide 3. So it is 2 meters per second square. Okay, when we get back to the main formula, force equal mass times acceleration. So we have 3 times 2, right? So the force equal 6 Newton. Okay, يبقى احنا كده عملنا link between the force and the acceleration. Relationship between force and the acceleration is F equal ma. هنا بقى عايزه اوضح لك حاجه مهمه جدا. If there is no acceleration, يعني if there is no acceleration, يعني if acceleration بتاعتي equals 0, what should be the force?
0.
ايه ده؟ الكلام ده معناه ايه؟ معناه ان الاكسلريشن والفورس two quantities strongly related to each other. ليهم علاقه ببعض. يعني لو الاكسلريشن 0 مفيش فورس اصلا. حلو. طب تعالى نقف كده شويه، هتكلم كده كلمتين كده على جنب. هو احنا يا ميس امتى الاكسلريشن تكون بزيرو؟ وين امتى اقول الاكسلريشن تكون بزيرو؟ وين ايه؟
No change in speed.
No motion in the object.
An object is moving
No, the object is not moving.
with a constant.
Constant speed.
With a constant
When the
speed.
object is stationary.
Yes, exactly. Also when it is stationary. Okay. بس خليني هنا بس هتكلم بس على constant speed الأول. So the constant speed means the acceleration equals zero, right? And the
Yes.
right force equals zero. ايه ده يا ميس؟ يعني انا لو سايق كده if I'm driving on the road with velocity or speed like 100 km per hour، هو كده مفيش فورس؟ انا ماشيه بكونستانت سبيد، هو كده مفيش فورس؟ مفيش فورس. امال why I'm pressing on the pedal of fuel؟ ليه انا بدوس على البنزين؟ هو بالفعل العربيه اللي انت راكبها دي طبعا ايه عربيه معقده يعني بس اوكي. yes imagine العربيه دي بتعمل force to the right، الفورس دي مثلا 200 نيوتن. okay and actually you're moving with a constant speed. طب فين ال 200 نيوتن دول؟ بالفعل 200 نيوتن دول are cancelled with another force which is equal and opposite in the opposite direction. acts in the opposite direction. الفورس اللي في opposite direction دي maybe ممكن تكون friction force between the car tire and road, or air resistance, or both of them. هو في الحقيقة both of them. يعني أنت عندك ال air resistance plus the friction مع بعض، الادنج بتاعهم والسمشن بتاعهم هيدينا 200 نيوتن. So we have two forces, one to the right of 200 newton and the other to the left of also 200 newton. So they cancel each other. Hey, we have something called resultant force. Resultant force equals zero. And what we are doing now, this force F equal ma, this force is known as resultant force. Okay, like I'll give you like a very simple example. تعالوا نشوف كده example يعني بسيط جدا بس هيوصل لك الفكرة. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have a lot of chat. Let me check the chat first, please. Miss how to get the mass and the acceleration from formula؟ يعني إيه how to get the mass؟ يعني هو given في الكويشن بيديك الماس والاكسلريشن يطلب الفورس يعني. اوكي الناس كلها اوكي ثانك يو. كل الناس كانت بتجاوب على الكويشنز احنا صح. Let me give you some or a sample example for this point. تعالى نقول مثلا نفتح هنا كده وايت بورد ونشرح عليها. But imagine that you have an object. This is an object and the object is of mass like it is a 5 kilogram. Here it is 5 kilogram. And we have two objects act on this object, act on the object. Like we have the first two forces. Sorry, we have two forces act on the object. This is the first force, and this is the other force. Okay, let it be. This one is 20 Newton, and this one is 5 Newton. Okay. What is the resultant force?
15 Newton.
Exactly. The resultant force, because they are opposite direction, we get the difference between them. So we have the resultant force, it is 20 minus 5 equals 15. Okay, what is the direction for this 15 force? Is it to the left or
Right.
The right side.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. If I ask you what is the acceleration of the moving object? خلاص احنا دلوقتي عرفنا يبقى احنا طالما two forces دول act on the object يبقى دلوقتي I have an object اهو this object of mass 5 kilogram. انا ممكن اعمل ايه؟ خلي هنا 5 kilogram كده. I can draw only one arrow. هرسم one arrow واحد بس كده like this. I can write 15 Newton only. خلاص يبقى ال 5 دي كنسلت مع 5 من 20 بأي 15. What is the acceleration of the moving object? We have F equal mass times acceleration, and the force is 15 Newton. This is the resultant force equal the mass, which is 5, multiply the acceleration. Hence, we have the acceleration equal 15 divided by,
Equals
so
3.
it is 3 meter per second square. Okay, so this is very famous question, especially في paper 2. يقول لك كده عندك object الماس بتاعته مثلا 2 or 3 كيلوغرام وفي 2 forces acting on the object. Find the acceleration. انت هتعمل ايه اول حاجه؟ find the resultant force. هات لي resultant force، هات لي الديفرنس ما بين ال 2 forces وبعدين use this equation F equal MA where this F is the resultant force. خلي بالنا من حاجه، here we have only here one condition. ايه هو الكونديشن دول؟ ان two forces دول act on the same line. يعني في عندي one straight line، ال two forces دول بيشتغلوا عليه. يعني بصوا هما الاثنين on the same straight line on the same line. لكن لو ال two forces دول have any other directions like one to the right and the other upward, no، دي ليها بقى calculation بطريقه ثانيه. يبقى انا هنا بتكلم عن ال forces which act on the same line but opposite direction. The resultant force for both of them is the difference between them. Okay? طيب تعالوا نشوف كده example. اوكي يا جماعة الشات كتير قوي، فأنا هطلب منكم بس بليز ستوب الشات غير لما يكون في حاجة يعني urgent عشان أقدر أتشيك. أنا فجأة بلاقي مثلا 50 شات فما أقدرش 50 مسج on chat، مش هقدر يعني أعمل يوم تشيك كل شوية. طيب نرجع تاني للفايل بتاعنا. اوكي تعالوا نشوف another example like this. يعني actually يعني هو ده يعني little bit difficult بس خليني برضه أقوله. تعالوا نشوف هنا كده. An object of mass 4 kilogram move with a constant speed. A force of 15 Newton is applied for 2 seconds. Find the final speed of the object. حلو، لا ده مش صعب، ده المفروض تكون عارف. هات ال final speed of the object. Okay, أنا عندي two formula. We have F equal mass times acceleration. And also we can get the acceleration. It is V minus U divided T. Okay, what is given in the question? We are given the mass M equal 4 kilogram. And we are given the initial speed, which is U, 20 meters per second. Okay. And you are asked to calculate the final speed. يعني V is unknown. Okay. And the force F equal 15 Newton. And the time equal 2 seconds. Okay. So to get the force, to get the final speed, you need to work on this equation or this formula. عشان الفورمولا هي فيها final speed. But عشان تجيب الفاليو بتاعت الفاينل سبيد لازم يكون عندك اليو تي and acceleration. لو بصينا هنا في الجيفنز عندي اليو عندي تي but we don't have the acceleration. ما عندناش الاكسلريشن. عشان نجيب الاكسلريشن هنشتغل على الايكويشن دي عشان نجيب الاكسلريشن and then take the value of the acceleration نعمل substitution in this equation. Okay, so we have a force of 15 Newton equal the mass of the object. The mass is 4 kilogram multiply acceleration. Okay, I'm sorry يعني أنا هستخدم يا جماعة different numbers. Let the force to be 16 please. Here. This 16. Okay, so we have here 16. So the acceleration here it is 16 divided 4. So it is 4 meters per second square. This is the first part. And then take the value of acceleration ونحطها في الإيكويشن دي. يبقى عندنا هنا 4 equal V minus U. V is unknown. U is 20 divided by time which is 2. Okay. How to solve equation like this؟ ده أخدناه في الماس. بنعمل إيه؟
Cross multiplication.
Exactly. بنعمل ده divide 1 ونعمل cross multiply like this. يعني إيه cross multiply؟ يعني 4 multiplies 2 equal 1 multiplies the whole term. كل term ده. Okay. So we have V minus 20 times 1 with the same value. أي حاجة multiplies 1 بنفسها. يعني هقول هنا V minus 20 equal 4 times 2 equal 8. Okay, so V equal هنودي negative 20 to the other
28.
side with opposite sign يبقى عندنا 8 plus 20. Then we get V equal 28 meter per second. Okay, clear يا شباب؟ Any questions?
Clear, teacher.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Here we have also another example. Yes, this example which I consider is a little bit difficult. تعالوا نشوف لنا الكويشن ده بيقول ايه هنا. The question here, we have an object of a mass of 1 kilogram. Okay, so we have here M, 1 kilogram, moves with constant speed 10 meters per second. So you think this is U or V?
U.
U, exactly, this is the initial speed. So we U, this is 10 meters per second square. Same, U is 10 meters per second. A force of 40 Newton is applied to stop the object. Oh, we have to stop at this word, to stop the object. What does this mean?
That's V.
That's
V equals
V.
0 meter per second.
يعني finally the object will be stationary. يعني the final speed will be 0, right? Because the object at the end عملنا breaks تصنع فرامل فالسبيد حصل لها decreasing لغاية لما becomes 0. Okay, well applied force كانت كام؟ 40 Newton. Okay, find the time taken to stop the object. Asked you to find the value of the time. Okay, here I have just a point. عندي point مهمة جدا جدا. المفروض ان الاوبجكت بتاعي دوت it moves forward. يعني ايه forward؟ ماشي في الدايركشن الفورورد بتاعك. يعني لو دي كار اوكي it moves forward. تعالى نعتبر مثلا الفورورد ده مثلا to the right. Okay, when I apply the brakes, what should be the direction of the brakes? Force. البريك دي force. الدايركشن بتاعها هيبقى فين؟ To the right or to the
Left.
left?
Left.
Exactly. So when you have a force, this force, what should be the force? أسيبها 40 ولا أخليها negative 40 أفضل؟
Negative 40.
Exactly, because it is opposite to the direction of motion. هو عكس the direction of motion. Okay. وبعد كده نشتغل عادي. هو ask you to find the time. التايم دوت موجود في الإيكويشن بتاعت الأكسلريشن. فلو جينا حطينا الأكسلريشن بتاعتي equal v minus u divided by t. طيب عشان أجيب التايم لازم كل البارامترز الثانية تكون موجودة. لازم يكون عندي acceleration، لازم يكون عندي v and u. أنا بالفعل عندي v and u but I don't know what is the value of acceleration. Acceleration is not given. فأنا هجيب الأكسلريشن من الفورمولا F
is equal to ma.
m multiplies a. Okay, so the force is negative 40 and the mass is 1 kilogram and the acceleration is unknown. So the acceleration equal negative 40 meter per second square. And it makes sense ان انت تخلي الاكسلريشن بتاعتك بنيجاتيف. الاكسلريشن لما بتبقى بنيجاتيف احنا بنسميها ايه؟
Deceleration or retardation.
Exactly.
Deceleration or retardation.
الراجل بيعمل slowing down بيبطأ فيبقى دي deceleration. Okay, so I have the acceleration with negative. طيب get back to the main equation here عشان اجيب التايم بتاعي. يبقى انا عندي negative 40 equal v minus u, v which is 0 minus u which is 10 meter per second divided by time which is unknown. Okay, how to get the value of t عشان نحل equation دي؟ نعمل
Cross multiplication.
cross multiply. As before doing cross multiply معلش هو 0 minus 10 بكام؟ بنيجاتيف 10. And the negative 40 divided 1 equals negative 10 divided t. By the way لما لقيت هنا fraction وهنا fraction هنا negative وهنا negative they can cancel together. يعني ممكن أكنسل النيجاتيف دي مع النيجاتيف دي. Okay, then we can make cross multiply. Like 1 times 10 equal 10, 10 equal 40 t. Right? طيب يبقى t بتاعتي equal ايه؟ 10 over 40.
1 over 40, which is 1 over 4 or 0.25 seconds.
Exactly, 0.25 seconds.
Miss, can you say again why you did it negative 40?
The force? Okay, because يعني consider the object is moving to the right. Okay. When we apply the brakes, where should be the direction of the brake force? الفرامل دي بتعمل force. الفورس الدايركشن بتاعها هيكون فين؟
To the right.
اكيد to the left مش to the right. لو انت عملت فورس في نفس الدايركشن بتاع الموشن يبقى السبيد بتاعتك هتزيد، لكن انت بتدوسي على الفرامل فالسرعه بتاعتك بتقل. اوكي فانت بتعملي فورس opposing الموشن، بتقللي الموشن، بتقللي السبيد بتاعتك، فلازم الفورس تاخد opposite direction لان هي against الموشن or direction of motion.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, do we have another example? Okay, go to the next page. Okay. Here also we have another example. أنا يعني أنا الإكسرسايزز البسيطة دي هي بسيطة جدا جدا، لكن I'm sure إن هي تخليك يعني الفكرة توصل لك كويس قوي. Okay, we have a body moves with a constant speed of mass 20 meters per second. So this is a natural speed or final speed. This is V or U?
U.
Exactly. So we have here U, 20 meters per second. Okay, and the force F 100 Newton. بس نقرا شوية. The force of 100 Newton is used to a stop. So the force take positive sign or negative sign?
Negative sign.
Negative 100 Newton. Okay. In 5 seconds, يبقى time بتاعي equal 5 seconds. Find the mass of the object. I forgot something here. Who could tell me what?
Final speed.
Exactly. What is the final speed?
0.
Exactly. خلي بالك بقى هنا بقى. هو مش قايلها لك بس stop. يبقى V equal 0. Okay. يلا, who can help me to solve this problem?
Can I teacher? I'm Kunuz.
Sure. يلا اتفضلي. Okay.
Okay, teacher. So first of all, we're gonna find the acceleration using the equation A equals to V minus U over C.
Okay, so we start with the acceleration. Okay, A equals V minus U divided by T.
So we're gonna put the values. So A equals to 0 minus 20 over 5.
Exactly. So
A equals to negative 20 over 5, which is negative 4.
So negative 4. This means that acceleration negative 4 meters per second square. So this is called
Deceleration.
Okay, then how can I get the value of mass?
So we're gonna write force equals to ma.
Okay, so M equal?
M equals to F over A.
Yeah, okay. Value is negative
So
100.
negative 100 over negative 4.
So what about the negative sign?
Which is 25
Okay.
kilograms.
Exactly. So بقى خلي بالنا ان النيجاتيف ساين هتكنسل مع نيجاتيف ساين، يبقى الام بتاعتنا equal 25 كيلو جرام. هنا بقى thank you. What's your name? What's your name? مين كان بيتحل معايا؟ Okay. Can you hear me يا شباب؟
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. طيب هنا بقى it makes sense إن الماس
Teacher, I'm your teacher.
Yes. What's your name?
I'm Kuno's teacher.
Kunuz. Yes. Thank you Kunuz. يعني لازم الماس بتاعتنا تطلع بpositive value. هو في ماس عندنا بالنيجاتيف؟ No. We don't have any mass with negative sign. عشان كده لازم النيجاتيف cancel with negative. Okay. Thank you Kunuz. طيب we have also exercising.
Miss, may I solve the next one?
No, there's no next one. It's okay. No problem. Okay. تعالوا بقى نتكلم شوية كده عن mass and weight. Okay. We know previously من السنين اللي فاتت you know that the amount of matter in an object is known as the mass. The mass هي كمية الماتر الموجودة في object and the measuring unit for mass is kilogram, and we can measure the mass by using the balance, and also the mass is the scalar quantity. Okay, but today we have a new definition for mass. What is the new definition for mass or inertial mass. What does it mean by inertial mass? It is a property in the object to resist the change in motion. يعني إيه؟ If you are trying to push a heavy rock, this rock resists the effect you do. أنت بتحاول تعمل push لheavy rock. الروك ده بيرزست الإفكت اللي أنت بتعمله. ليه هو بيعمل resist؟ عشان هو عنده mass. The greater the mass, the greater the resistance to the change in motion. انت عايز تعمل له change في الستيت بتاعته. هو بيكون ساكن في مكانه وانت عايز تعمل له push، فانت عايز تحركه. هو بيرزست اللي انت بتعمله. لما يعمل لك resist يبقى هو عنده inertial mass عاليه. This is another definition for mass. الماس بتاعتك ممكن تقولها the amount of material in the object، وده يعني definition ضعيف شويه. المفروض تقول هي property in an object to resist the change in motion. اوكي؟ طيب احنا عندنا كده يعني sub topic اسمه mass and weight. when you have to know the difference between mass and weight. خلينا نفتح كده وايت بورد وهنشرح كده. يعني انا بحب على البورد كده شخبط حاجات كتير كده. اوكي، احنا كلنا موجودين في ال gravitational field of Earth. This is the Earth. Okay, the Earth has huge mass. mass بتاعت الأرض كبيرة جدا جدا. Because the Earth has huge mass, the Earth has something called gravitational field or gravitational force. أي حاجة عندها gravitational force بسبب إن الحاجة دي عندها large mass. أي planet عنده mass يبقى عنده gravitational field أو gravitational force. خلاص؟ The Earth has gravitational field and gravitational force. The moon, the sun, كل أي object أو أي planet عنده force هيبقى عنده gravitational field أو gravitational force. أو gravitational field يعني إيه؟ يعني the Earth has huge mass، فالأرث الماس دي ليها effect بتأثر من على بعد. أنتوا متخيلين؟ like a magnet. Really? Yes. يعني mass of Earth. Because the mass of Earth very huge. It attracts us? Yes. And this is the cause of gravitational field strength or the acceleration due to gravity G, which is 10 meters per second square. يعني الأرث جايب الجرافيتي منين؟ From its mass. Okay? طيب. We all live in the gravitational field of Earth. If we go outside the gravitational field، لو احنا خرجنا بره مجال الجاذبية، you can't stand on the Earth. مش تقدر تقف على الأرض خالص. You will fly. There's no gravitational force. There's no force acts upon your body. مش هتلاقي force بتشد جسمك لتحت. So the force which attracts your body toward the Earth, it is known as weight or gravitational force. Okay. If I have two objects, this object is 1 kilogram, and this object is 10 kilogram. Okay, so the Earth will attract both of them. لكن the force of attraction عليهم هما الاثنين it differs. ليه؟ لأن كل واحد فيهم attracted with different force. The force of gravity depends on the mass of the object. يعني الويت بتاعنا equal mass of the object multiplies acceleration due to gravity, G. This equation is exactly like force equal ma. The weight is a force. The weight is a force. And this is the mass of the object. And this is the acceleration of the object. كل الفرق إن acceleration G بتكون toward the center of Earth. ناحية center of Earth. Okay. So the weight equal ma. It is another formula or another shape second law of Newton. F equal ma. This is the weight. So what is the definition of weight? It is the gravitational force of Earth on the object. Okay, so if we have this object, what is the force or the gravitational force act on this object or the weight. تعالوا نسمي الويت كده، معلش انا هسميه كده F وهعمل subscript G، يعني force because of gravity اللي هو الويت equal mg. so قلنا الماس دي 10 كيلوغرام and the acceleration due to gravity G equal 10. so 10 times 10 equal 100 Newton. What about the other object here? The weight of this object, it is 1 multiplies 10. So we get here
It's gonna be 10.
meter per second square. Okay. So this is what is meant by weight. طب what about the mass? The mass هي 10 كيلوغرام دي. The amount of matter اللي موجودة في الأوبجكت بتاعك. يعني أنا لو خدت الأوبجكت ده كده ورحت جيت هنا رسمت لك عملت هنا كده this is the moon. اوكي. وبعد كده رحت ماسكه الاوبجكت ده كده، يعني خليني بس ايه عشان يتشال معايا. اوكي this is the object ده اللي هو 10 كيلوغرام ده كده. هاخد ال 10 كيلوغرام ده كده from earth هروح بيه to the moon. this is the moon. هل ال 10 كيلوغرام will differ? Do you think the mass will be different? No.
No, the mass is not differing anywhere.
Yes, exactly. The
Mass is constant.
Yes. So the mass is constant anywhere. Oh yeah. If you change even the planet, the mass is the same. Okay. But the weight differs from planet to planet. Look here. The moon has a gravitational force or a gravitational field like the Earth because it has huge mass. But the acceleration due to gravity on the moon, G of the moon, is 1/6 from the G of Earth. It is around 1.67 meter per second square. Okay, this is acceleration to the gravity on the moon. Okay, so if we have this object here 10 kilogram ده on the Earth الويت بتاعه هيبقى كام؟ 100 Newton. لكن if this object on the moon, what should be the weight on this object? It should be here the weight and on the weight there.
We're gonna multiply.
Yes, and weight and moon is going to be 10 multiplies 1.67. So it should be 16.7 Newton. Okay, that's why for astronomers, when they are on the moon, they can move freely. You know, because if one of them tried just a step or make a step, he feel like he is flying. Why? Because the force of attraction toward the moon is weak or weaker than the Earth. Okay, this is a difference between. Here also, I want to add something here. And الجي بتاعتك which is 10 في الحقيقة it is not 10. It varies. هي بتختلف يعني ما بين مثلا 9.7 meter per second square to 10. Okay? Even on the earth حتى على الأرض يعني مثلا الناس اللي موجودة هنا مثلا عندهم gravity ممكن تكون 10. الناس اللي هنا ممكن تبقى 9.8. الناس اللي هنا really? Yes. ليه بقى؟ هقول لك ليه. Because the shape of the earth is not exactly a sphere. It's not a complete sphere, or it is not, you know, it has a elliptical shape like this. The shape of the earth is like this. Okay, so there is a center of earth, so the diameter of the earth differs from point to point. Yeah, this is diameter and the earth diameter. You see here. Here is this diameter here. Let's say G1 and this diameter here is G2. This is greater than this because the value of G depends on the diameter or the radius of Earth. Okay, so since the value of G changes or differs a little bit from position to position, ده معناه إن الويت كمان بيختلف من position to position on the Earth. لكن يعني the difference بيكون يعني very small value. You got the point? Any question يا شباب؟
No, miss.
اوكي يعني نرجع تاني للمين فايل بتاعنا. اوكي، فانا دلوقتي هنجمع ال differences between mass and weight. We said the mass is the amount of material in an object. Hello, are you there? ولاد أنا حاسة عندي disconnection. Can you hear me?
Yes, miss.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, because what happened? I have electricity cut. ربنا يستر وما تقطعش تاني. ربنا يستر. Okay, so we have here the mass and weight. Mass is the amount of material in an object, or it is a property to resist a change of motion. The weight is the force of gravity acting on the body. The unit of measuring mass is kilogram. Here the unit is Newton because weight is a force. Okay, what is the direction of weight? يعني force it has direction. لكن الويت الدايركشن بتاعه always towards the center of Earth. Okay, how to measure the mass? By using balance or sensitive balance. How to measure the weight? By using Newton meter, force meter, or spring scale. It's a scalar quantity, vector quantity. It is constant anywhere. It differs from place to another and from planet to planet. Okay. Thank you. Okay. يس هنا يعني كل الفورمولا بتاعت الماس اند ويت هنا الفورس العاديه F equal MA ده خلاص خلصناه والويت كمان الويت equal mass times G. خلي بالنا من حاجه ان الجي بتاعتنا ليها 3 اسماء ممكن نسميها acceleration due gravity او free fall acceleration او gravitational field strength. Okay, طبعا الويت is measured in Newton because it is a force. Okay. Okay, here we have example. We have an object of mass 60 kilogram. Find the weight. So we have the M is 60 and G is 10. So mg equals 600 Newton. هنا خلي بالنا the mass must be in kilogram. Yeah, sometimes if the mass is given in gram, you have to change it from gram into kilogram. Like if I give you an object of mass 500 gram, what should be the weight? The weight equal M multiplied G. Okay, so we have to change the mass. يبقى M equal 500 divided 1,000
by 1,000.
kilogram. بيطلع لنا 0.5 kilogram.
So
Okay, so
0.5 times 10, which is 5
5
Newton.
Newton.
Exactly 5 Newton. Okay. I will tell you something here يعني very interesting. عايزة أقول لكم على حاجة يعني لو قلنا مثلا if I have an object الأوبجكت ده الماس بتاعته 100 جرام. If the mass of the object 100 gram, what should be the weight? الام بتاعتي 100 gram. So find the weight.
1000.
1 Newton.
Exactly, perfect, 1 Newton. So it equal mass times m times g, okay? والm بتاعتنا given in gram فنعمل 100 divided 1000 times g, which is 10. Okay? يبقى هنا 1000 over 1000 يعني equal 1 Newton. Really? يعني 1 نيوتن لو انت عايز تعرف بقى السنس بقى عايز تعرف 1 نيوتن دي معناها ايه؟ 1 نيوتن هي ال force of gravity which act on an object of mass 100 gram. يعني 1 نيوتن دي هي الويت بتاع 100 جرام. لو انت عايز تعمل سنس يعني وتحسب ال 1 نيوتن دي قد ايه. اوكي ناخد example another example.
مس
Yes.
مس هو ازاي 1 نيوتن؟
ازاي 1 نيوتن ما احنا عاملينها على البورد اهي. ايه المشكلة؟ الماس ايكوال ايه؟
مش الماس لو 100 يبقى تايم والجرافيتي 10
هيبقى ده 100 جرام.
مش
لازم
المفروض
نحول
ان
من
احنا
جرام
نعمل
كيلو جرام.
مش المفروض ان احنا نعمل 100 divided by 1000 multiplied by 10
طيب
عشان يجيب لك
100 divided by 10 multiplied by 10.
هو المفروض بيبقى بايه؟ يعني مش جرام بيبقى بايه؟
المفروض ايه؟ انا مش سامعه.
لا حضرتك بتقولي اصل ده جرام، يعني لو هو مش جرام المفروض يبقى ايه؟
لازم يكون in kilogram.
تمام.
International unit for mass is kilogram.
Yes.
اوكي تعالوا نشوف الاكزامبل ده. اوكي this question يعني عشان يفرق لك بس between الفورس والweight. A car of mass 1000 kilogram. Okay, so the mass is 1000 kilogram, moving with acceleration 2 meters per second square. Find the resultant force acting on the object and the weight of the object. عايز الفورس وعايز الويت. بسيطة جدا. الفورس بتاعتي equal mass times acceleration. So we have a mass multiplies acceleration. And the weight equal mass multiplies g, or acceleration due to gravity. Okay. Okay, here we have some exercises.
Miss, may I solve this one?
Okay. لا يعني طب خليني طيب يعني في option to raise your hands. أنا let me check. أنا هختار مين يجاوب معانا. نشوف الناس اللي هتبقى معانا النهارده مين. اوكي طيب نبدأ بروان اتفضلي.
Yes, Miss. The first question says the mass of a ball on the Earth is 3 kilograms. What is the mass on the moon? The mass doesn't change; it's constant, so it's going to be 3 kilograms.
Okay. So yes, the mass does not change, so it's going to be 3 kilograms. Okay. Another one. We need someone else.
Thank you, Miss.
عمر سيد.
Find the weight of an object of mass 70 kilograms. 70 kilograms multiply the gravitational force multiply 10 equals 700.
Exactly.
700 نيوتن.
يعني أنا بحب دايما الويت m times g. بحب دايما أكتب الفورمولا الأول. يبقى it is 70 multiplies 10 يعني equal 700 نيوتن. Exactly. Someone else يا حلوين. غير عمر. ما شاء الله. عبد الرحمن.
Yes, miss. An object of weight 800 Newton, find its mass. Miss, 800 divided by 10.
Exactly. بصي أنا هحط الإيكويشن بتاعت الويت في ترينجل. الويت تعالي اكتبوا W طيب. الويت اللي هو W equal M times G, right? هنا multiply and here is the 5. Okay. Hold on for a second, I'll be back within 1 minute, okay? يس يا شباب خلاص فاحنا عايزين هنا الماس يعني مين كان بيحل معانا؟ عبد الرحمن اتفضل. عبد الرحمن.
أيوة مس.
يبقى الماس equal ايه يا عبد الرحمن؟
800 divided by 10 80.
Exactly. Okay. Question 4 we need somebody else. مش أدهم فودة أو الناس اللي عايزة تشارك يا جماعة raise your hands. مصطفى عادل.
أيوه.
اتفضل يا مصطفى.
If the acceleration due to gravity on the moon is 1/6 of acceleration due to gravity on Earth, find the acceleration due to gravity on the moon.
عايز الاكسلريشن ديو جرافيتي اون ذا مون. هو قال لك الاكسلريشن ديو جرافيتي اللي هي الجي بتاعت المون 1/6 من الجي بتاعت الارث، يبقى الجي على المون ايكوال كام؟
الجي هي 1/6 على الإيرث
ايوه تايمز
تايمز
جي بتاعت الارث 1/6 من الجي بتاعت الارث. اوكي،
الجي بتاعت الإيرث.
طب الجي بتاعت الارث كام يا مصطفى؟
10.
Exactly 10. So g of moon it is 10 divided 6 هتلاقوها 1.67 meter per second square. Great, thank you مصطفى. نشوف مش عارفة بصراحة في question تاني ولا في ايه. Okay, question 5. This is an object. I need somebody to solve question 5. Question 5 يا شباب. كنوز وعبد الرحمن. هنا اتفضلي يا هنا.
Number 5.
An object of mass 60 kilogram. Find the mass on the moon يا هنا.
60 kilograms.
Exactly 60 kilogram, not change in mass. Okay. And what about the weight هنا? Weight. طالما قال لي weight وسكت يبقى هو يقصد weight on earth ها؟ لكن لو الويت على أي مكان تاني like moon هيكتب لك weight on moon. يبقى الويت equal إيه هنا؟
It equals mg, so 60 times by 10 equals 600 newtons.
Exactly, we have 60 times 10 times 10. 600 Newton. Okay, what is the weight on moon? هو فوق قال بقى الجي بتاعت المون بكام؟ 1.67 right؟ يبقى الويت المون equal ايه؟
equals 100 تقريبا.
Exactly. بص يا ولاد هو دايما الويت المون 1/6 من الويت on earth. فالويت on earth 600 فالويت المون هي الويت on earth weight on divided 6 يعني 600 divided 6 يعني equal 100. لو انت عايز تشتغلها هتقولي الويت المون equal mg m والجي بتاعت المون طبعا. فالماس بتاعتك هتبقى 60 كيلو جرام multiplies 1.67 تطلع تقريبا رقم قريب من ال 100 نيوتن.
مش 100.2.
بوينت ايه؟
2.
اوكي يعني تقريبا the same value. اوكي. نشوف if we have questions.
So miss, should we write 100.2 or do we write 100 newtons?
يعني it depends والله انت هتشوفي في الكوتشن هو مديكي ايه. لو مديكي 1.67 هتستخدمي 1.67. اوكي. بعد كده هنقعد مع بعض في سيشن تانية نتكلم عن السيجنيفيكانت فيجر لكن مش دلوقتي خالص. اوكي طيب يلا نحل مع بعض بقى شويه كده. Which quantity is measured in Newton?
Wait.
Exactly, perfect. Wait. برافو عليك. Wait. Okay, another question here. The acceleration of free falling Mars is 3.7 meters per second square. What is the weight of 100 grams of mass on Mars?
$370 Newton.
هي الماس given in ايه يا ولاد؟
0.37.
2.37
Must be 0.37 Newton.
Miss,
We have to change the mass from gram into kilogram. This is the mass. Multiplies G, which is 3.7. يطلعنا بكام بقى؟
0.37.
Miss, can you go to the question before the previous question?
Sure. This one?
Miss, before it.
This one?
Yes, miss. 1 second.
Okay. Do you have a question here?
No, miss. You can continue.
You're copying?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me check if we have questions here on this topic. Okay, this question is a very great question. An object is suspended from a spring balance on Earth. The same object is suspended from the same spring on another planet. فعندنا هنا reading on Earth where the reading on the other planet. Which statement explains the difference between the two readings. طبعا خلي بالنا بس من حاجة قبل ما نبص للستيتمنتس عندك، بس عايزة بس أوصل لمعلومة بسيطة جدا. إيه هي المعلومة دي؟ إن أنت هنا حضرتك اوكي الريدنج بتاعتك الويت on the earth الريدنج اللي هنا it is around 1.5 okay and the reading here is تقريبا 2.5 okay so what do you expect the gravity of the planet is greater or less than the gravity on earth greater exactly عشان هو the same mass يعني the same mass لو سي ان الماس دي مثلا هو ماليش الماس كام يعني بس خلينا نقول ان الماس دي مثلا should be مثلا ايه ده ما اعرفش 15 جرام
بس هو هنا الريدنج ده ريدنج للماس ولا للويت؟
لا الريدنج هنا للويت spring is for weight okay طيب it is the same object يعني نفس الماس اللي هنا نفس الماس اللي عارفين بقى ان الماس المفروض لو ماس مش هيديك اي تشينج خالص which statement explain the difference بقى تعالى نشوف ايه الستمنت بتقول ايه بقى يقول لك both mass and weight of the object are greater okay let me just يعني خلينا read them one by one اكيد الماس والويت مش هيبقوا مختلفين هي حاجه constant وحاجه ثانيه هتختلف the mass of object is greater اكيد wrong طبعا mass مش هتختلف قلنا the spring stretched more easily when on the other planet or the weight of the object is greater on the other planet than on Earth but the mass is unchangeable
D.
exactly برافو عليك okay so this about this file I want to move to paper 4 I have question لازم احل at least question on paper 4 عشان just link acceleration بالforce this is question I want to solve question here is question 11 so yes I want to solve this question okay here's the last section I wanted to solve this question لكن لقينا فيه he asked us to find the force قلت له لا لازم ناخد الفورس الأول okay طيب okay here a car accelerates from rest at time equals 0 to the maximum speed figure 1.1 is the speed time graph for the first 25 seconds of its motion okay بعد كده مدينا الجراف the question is the mass of the car is 2300 kilogram for the time between t equals 0 and t equals 5 determine the acceleration of the car عايز ما بين t equals 5 و t equals سوري ما بين t equals 0 و t equals 5 عايز الاكسلريشن اول حاجه تعملها بص هنا كده خليني استخدم التولز بتاعت الزوم عشان هي اسهل في الحاجات دي from t equals 0 من البوزيشن ده لغايه البوزيشن ده عايز الاكسلريشن فانت هتيجي تبص كده لو لقيناها ستريت لاين وده سبيد تايم جراف صح ده سبيد تايم جراف يبقى عشان اجيب الاكسلريشن لازم اعمل ايه هي بس احط ال5 بتاعتي هتبقى البوينت هنا okay from here to here is this a straight line هل الريليشن دي straight line yes so the acceleration here is the
constant
yes it is a it is a gradient right عشان نحسب الاكسلريشن لازم نحسب الجريدينت بتاع اللاين ده اوكي فانا هاخد 2 points like this point here and this 0 point okay فدي 5 هشوف ال corresponding to 5 here's the reading here it is it is around 15. Okay. And here is 5. يبقى هنا كده this is y2 and here is y1 and this is your x2 and this is x1. So the acceleration is 15 sorry, minus 0 divided by 5 minus 0. So the acceleration is
3
15
meters per second squared.
exactly, it is 3 meter per second square. This is the first part for the question. طيب next part. So we get here أنا عايزة بس أعمل حاجة، عايزة أكتب هنا بس كده الفورمولا اللي احنا كتبناها إن الأكسلريشن بتاعتي هي V minus U divided T واحنا حسبناها 15 minus 0 divided by 5 minus 0. So we get it is to be, it's 3 meter per second square. So it is 3 per second square. Okay, what is the resultant force for the core?
That equals to MA.
So exactly, the resultant force F equal mass multiplies acceleration. Okay, what is the value of mass? It is
3,300 kilograms.
what is the value of acceleration?
3 meters per second squared.
So the value of force is 0, 0, 9, 6 نيوتن طبعا. اوكي يا شباب.
Okay, teacher. Okay, miss.
اوكي امبارح كان في كنا شغالين يعني كلاسز بتاعتي انا، كان في كوتشن حلو قوي، يا رب بس يكون اهو لسه موجود. كان في كوتشن لطيف جدا على الجزء ده كده. عايزه بس اكونفيرم على حاجه. when the speed is constant there is no acceleration and there is no force. اوكي انا هحل سؤال اخير يبقى كده ان شاء الله خلصنا السيشن. this was a question. Start the question from the beginning here. Okay, we have a lorry is traveling along a straight horizontal road. Figure 1.1 is a distance time graph for the lorry. Okay, the question is at t equals 30 seconds. أكيد في حاجة مطلوبة بس مش باينة في استنوا كده. Yes, okay. Okay, the speed of the car of the lorry at t equals 30. عايز speed بتاعت اللوري عند t equals 30 وده distance time graph. فأنا هطلع كده عند t equals 30 at t equals 30 يعني هنا كده تقريبا
find the gradient.
3 4 5 اللي هنا كده، وبعد كده move ثانية واحدة. Yes, this line. خلاص هتلاقي relation لغاية هنا from the beginning to هنا هتلاقيه it's a straight line. Once إن هي straight line يبقى distance اوكي يعني احنا حليناها امبارح مع الناس اللي كانت معانا امبارح. حليناها كانت السبيد بتاعتنا طلعناها بالرقم ده كده خلاص. وطبعا it's clear ان هو عند t equal 30 the object was moving with a constant speed علشان السرعة. بصوا كل ده كده one straight line, right? So it is a constant speed. The straight line start to be curved from here. من أول time 60 اللاين بقى curved. إذا من أول هنا الموشن بدأت تختلف. هنا steady speed أو constant speed، هنا السبيد بتاعتي decreases عشان ده distance time graph، دي distance time graph. السبيد بتاعتي decreases as we move up. يبقى أنت عندك من أول هنا لهنا في عندك deceleration لغاية لما الأوبجكت يقف عند البوزيشن ده كده يبقى ده أصبح stationary object. اوكي طب the question في أنا يعني بفتح الفايدة عشان أقول لك question لطيف جدا بيقول إيه. It was a very difficult question يعني for the student عشان كده. Yes, this question here يعني للأسف it's solved بس خلينا نقول هنا كده. بيقول لك use the figure 1.1 to determine the magnitude of the acceleration at time equal 30. طبعا احنا جبنا فوق as you see in the في الفيجر بتاعنا احنا شفنا ان at t equals 30 the object is moving with a constant speed. So when he asks you to find the acceleration equals 0, right?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, miss.
Okay. Okay. For the next part here, determine the forward force in the lorry due to the engine. هو هنا قايل لك معلش في معلومة هنا بيقول لك at t equals 0. ممكن بس امسح الشخبطة دي. هو هنا قايل لك at t equals 30 seconds the total resistive force acting on the lorry is 1.4 times 10 power 4 نيوتن. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ يعني اللوري بتاعتك اهي. اوكي، عند لحظه معينه او الريزستيف فورس اللي هي الفورس which acts in the opposite direction، طبعا المفروض ان هي ماشيه فورورد. ها، هي ماشيه فورورد عند t equal 30 الريزلتنت فورس بزيرو والاكسلريشن بزيرو، بس قايل لك في نفس الوقت ان في ريزستيف فورس ب 1.4 times 10 power 4 نيوتن. رايت؟ ده معناه ان الفورورد فورس ايكوال ايه؟
1.4 times 10 to the power of 4 نيوتن.
لازم تساوي نفس الفاليو علشان الاثنين يكنسلوا بعض وتبقى resultant force بزيرو والاكسلريشن بزيرو. This was the question. So forward force. This forward force is done by the engine of the car or of the lorry. Okay. Today I finished my lesson. I wish all of you enjoyed it. وأتمنى إنكم كلنا فهمنا lesson. Thank you for all of you. See you next session inshallah next week on Monday at 1 p.m. Cairo time. Yeah, السلام عليكم.
Thank you. Bye.